most valuable possession until he broke into her life and stole it.
The odds against a crook being sensitive enough to get into your diaries is about 1,000,000,000 to 1.
Her private thoughts, his secret obsessions. He knows all about her now and won't stop until he becomes a part of her life.
It's gonna stop. No, please, no!
Thief of Hearts.
Wednesday at 7 on Receptive Channel 9. Join us tomorrow night at 7 when Stephen Bauer and Barbara Williams live out their wildest fantasies in the broadcast television premiere, Thief of Hearts, here on Receptive Channel 9.
When I played football, I gave it everything I had and more. Your Hall of Fame dealer will give you the best of everything for your money. He really wants your business, and he put forth an extra effort to get it.
Here's the Art Goebel lineup. Great 88 Ford car and truck deals without hassle. Restyling like Crown Victoria and Tempo. More inventory with more options. 6 years, 60,000-mile warranties. Get your new 88 Ford car or truck from Art Goebel Ford, Coon Rapids.
Your love has lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up. So keep it up. Quench my desire. Quench my desire. Yeah. You know your love keeps on lifting higher.
Arrow shirts. We've loosened our collar.
I love a good mystery, and I've got some great ones right here, somewhere. There's a box set from the queen of mystery writers, Agatha Christie, and P.D. James, always a tough case to solve. And Sherlock Holmes, who often said, if you want to hide something, put it in the most obvious place.
Mystery collections make great holiday gifts at B. Dalton Bookseller.
You can call me Books.
Tonight on Primetime News, in Geneva, negotiations have been successful. The U.S. and Soviets have worked out an arms agreement. But in Atlanta and Louisiana, negotiations are at a standstill as Cuban prisoners continue their stranglehold on 2 federal prisons.
From the Twin Cities, this is the Upper Midwest first look at tonight's news. This is Primetime News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Heather Harden.
And I'm Rod Grams. Thanks for joining us tonight. Topping our news, 2 federal prisons remain under siege tonight.
In Atlanta and in Oakdale, Louisiana, rioting Cuban prisoners are still holding a total of more than 100 hostages, and there is little progress to report at either location. One hostage in Atlanta was freed tonight, a guard who suffers from high blood pressure. Warden Joseph Petrosky says negotiators for the inmates are not accepting an offer by Attorney General Edwin Meese to put deportations on hold pending a case-by-case review. All the way around, Petrosky says negotiations have been difficult.
We found out very quickly that as soon as you agree to a set of demands, a new leadership takes over and you get a whole new set of demands.
And so their demands now are what?
We don't really know. The negotiations at this point are at a standstill because we really can't establish leadership inside.
There are reports that as many as 6 people died in yesterday's uprising. More than 300 inmates, Americans and Cubans, have given themselves up to authorities. And in Oakdale, Louisiana, where 1,000 detainees are being held, there's no end in sight to the standoff that began Saturday night. Cubans brought 2 of their hostages to a prison gate today to show they're all right. A spokeswoman for the correction center says the Cubans have released 54 inmates since the takeover, but continue to hold 28 staffers hostage.
Some of the wives and mothers of Cuban detainees who are facing deportation went to the Justice Department today. Their plea, don't send the 2,500 prisoners back home. The Justice Department assured them each case would be carefully looked at. The sooner the rioting ends, they said, the better off everyone is going to be.
And we suggested that any continuation of this can only operate to the detriment of the people who are responsible for this uprising. It was our suggestion that they convey, if they were comfortable to this, a sense that the Department of Justice is serious. We are taking into considerations their legitimate concerns, as we discussed today, and it can only hurt their situations to continue this.
Our other big story tonight, for the first time ever, the United States and Soviet Union have come to terms on an agreement to eliminate an entire class of nuclear weapons.
The plan to get rid of intermediate-range nuclear missiles was announced this morning in Geneva.
Minister Shevardnadze and I are shaking hands. And the reason is that we've now completed agreement on all of the outstanding INF issues. All that remains is some treaty language which others will be able to do. So we're very pleased that we have this result.
Formal signing is set for December 9th in Washington during the Superpower Summit between President Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. The president says that even though progress has been made on a long-range missile treaty, he won't trade away Star Wars. He said today that the space-based defense program is bounding forward.
Our Strategic Defense Initiative offers mankind security through protection rather than retaliation. I must tell you that I have never been able to see the safety or feel the safety of knowing that if someone blew us up, we'd be blowing them up at the same time.
Mr. Reagan made his comments in Denver to employees of Martin Marietta who are working on the Star Wars program.
The idea of a summit is getting high marks from most Americans. A poll conducted for a conservative group says 86% of the people who responded approve of the planned meeting. But according to that group, called the Committee on the Present Danger, a majority are also skeptical of Soviet attentions.
17 people pleaded not guilty today to charges stemming from the biggest marijuana bust in the nation. Last month, authorities seized 48 tons of marijuana on a farm near New York Mills, Minnesota. Records seized at the farm led to another massive bust of 34 tons in western Nebraska. That was followed by more arrests and marijuana operations in 5 states. Authorities say that the 17 arrested in Minnesota are all from the same county in Kentucky and bought a farm in Otter Tail County this spring. Drug enforcement officials said today that the group aroused suspicion in part because they were so unfriendly with their rural neighbors.
Ran their operation like a paramilitary organization. They all wore Army fatigues, camouflage Army fatigues. They were very standoffish. They didn't talk to their neighbors. They took great steps to avoid socializing or talking with their neighbors.
Braseth added that the corn planted to hide the marijuana was planted too late to get a crop, and that hay bales were stacked in an obvious effort to keep people from seeing anything. A trial date has now been set for February.
A wage increase Northwest Airlines put into effect over the weekend for 2,900 of its workers has been put on hold. U.S. District Judge Diana Murphy tonight granted a request by the Machinists Union for a temporary order stopping the airline from putting the new pay and benefits package into effect. A court official says another hearing has been set for December 4th to consider a more binding order. There's more to come tonight on Primetime News.
When we come back, a quake, a king, and some special cooks. Stay tuned.
All we got. You know, if I would have known I had to do this, I wouldn't have come. Yeah. Oh, you did it.
By the looks of this food, everyone will think we've been cooking for hours.
They'll never know we picked it all up at Simics. Oh, and you know the Rileys will bring us another fruit basket.
Why? Just because they bring us one every year?
I know, but just say you love it.
They're here.
Surprise! Thanks.
We love it.
Come on in.
I don't believe it! A Simics gift box!
I really do love it.
Now buy 2 gift boxes and receive a free turkey. Simics.
My father is the greatest person I know.
If you had a race with my father, he'd always let you win at the end.
I love my pop very much.
He still calls me up and says, "How's my boy?"
When I grow up, I want to be like my dad.
When was the last time you took a picture of your dad?
You know how I hate funerals? It was up to me. I wouldn't even go to my own. You'll be there Monday at 1 o'clock. Uh-oh. Too bad. I can't go Monday. Why not? I got a date. With who? With Mama. It's the first Monday. You know I always take her to lunch on the first Monday of the month.
I hope I don't die on the first Monday of the month, or you are going to have a hell of a decision to make.
Tuesday night at 10 on Channel 9.
Find a gift you'll be sure to enjoy now at a special price during holiday savings at Mills Fleet Farm.
Give the convenient Conair Prima cordless telephone with full extended range and automatic security system. Or get the full function remote control call keeper telephone answering system. Your choice, $64.99.
Dress up your vehicle with Rubber Queen Deluxe carpeted car mats, conventional or front wheel drive, twin front mats, $12.99, twin carpeted rear mats, $7.99. For the best buys and great gift ideas for the entire family.
Shop now for special holiday savings at Mills Fleet Farm.
One Southern Californian says the ground was rolling, cars were bouncing, and trees were shaking this morning as another earthquake shook the desert area. This quake and another last night were centered in the Imperial Valley. Authorities say at least 3 people were injured. In the city of Calico, apparently it was the hardest hit. A wall caved in at a furniture store and sidewalks were littered with broken glass.
Briefly, a look at some other stories in the news tonight. A no-smoking ban has been extended to all parts of the London subway system following last week's fatal fire. Officials think a cigarette sparked the blaze, which killed 30 people. The pilot of an Air Force jet that crashed in Indianapolis last October asked air traffic controllers if he was near any populated areas, but he never got an answer. That according to transcripts released today. The pilot ejected safely, but the plane crashed into a hotel, killing 10 people. A former Minnesota pastor was among the 16 people killed in the crash of a twin-engine commuter plane last night as it tried to land at the airport in Homer, Alaska. The Reverend Jack Couchy had been a pastor in Garrison and at the Hillman Baptist Church near Mora.
Minnesota got a reminder of its Scandinavian heritage today with the arrival of the King of Norway. King Olaf V was greeted by 11-year-old Dorothy Rand, the granddaughter of the former U.S. ambassador to Norway. The King is in Minnesota for a 6-day visit, including a speech at St. Olaf College in Northfield tomorrow, and also a Thanksgiving dinner at the home of an Edina family on Thursday.
The AAA says millions of motorists will be on the highways again this Thanksgiving. Estimates are about 24.5 million will be driving from here to there to be with family or friends for the holiday. And gas prices are running about 21 cents a gallon higher than last year. At the self-service pumps, the average price for regular was 93.8, 97.9 for unleaded, and $1.10 a gallon for premium unleaded. Well, helping others has become a holiday tradition for thousands of Minnesota volunteers.
For them, saying an extra prayer at their Thanksgiving dinner table isn't enough. Susan Austin tells us why.
There's a holiday meal in each of these 5,000 bags of food, free to anyone who stops by tomorrow at Disciples Ministry Church in Minneapolis. Charity like this wouldn't be possible without volunteers, the people who for 3 days have been packing the bags with food so that no one goes hungry.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Feeling good about helping others is a common sentiment among volunteers. Here at the Little Brothers headquarters, preparations for the annual Thanksgiving dinner for the elderly are underway, starting with 300 pounds of homemade stuffing. This year, Diane Nosneski says she and her family won't be at home for turkey. Instead, they'll be serving dinner at a church in Minneapolis.
Oh, I think everybody agrees that at holiday time it's more fun to do something for somebody else than just stay home and cook your own turkeys.
Chopping raw onions is one of many worthwhile sacrifices Helen Huff is making this year.
Well, I always feel good when I can come over here and help. Anytime I got time, they just call me up, I just come over. I live about 4 blocks away.
Making the holidays a happier time for others less fortunate is what motivates these volunteers. Because according to them, caring about others is what it's all about. Susan Austin, Channel 9 News.
The perfect vacation doesn't have to be a fantasy. MLT Vacations. We deliver dreams.
Every morning in Excelsior, the Star Tribune gives the boys something to talk about. In St. Paul, it helps folks learn what they missed last night. It goes to school in Mendota, takes care of business in Minneapolis and goes after walleye in White Bear Lake. In fact, everywhere you go in the Twin Cities, you'll find the Star Tribune, giving somebody the good news. Star Tribune, newspaper of the Twin Cities.
When searching for the lowest prices on toys, it's easy to get lost. In fact, most stores have you going in circles, but not Children's Palace, where you'll discover our low price on Coleco Sylvanian Family's deluxe house, just $29.99 every day. With working windows and doors, 2 skylights, and a hook-on ladder, Sylvanian families now have a home of their own. So escape the high cost of toys. Come to Children's Palace and discover how much less toys can cost.
What makes the Volkswagen Jetta the best-selling European nameplate in America? Some insist it's the German engineering. Some think it's because the Jetta is fun to drive. A few insist it's because of the way the Jetta handles. And there are others who think the Volkswagen Jetta became our top line because of our bottom line. And you know what? They're all right.
At $89.90, the Jetta is a great value at your Twin Cities Volkswagen dealer.
If you got a problem, don't care what it is.
A homeowner wanted to cut his energy costs, so he had NSP make a house call. NSP's consultant was glad to help with ideas that trimmed energy costs more than 20%.
It would sure do me good to do you good. I can help.
To use energy smarter in your home, in your business, call your NSP energy consultant. We can help.
Medical groups around the country are trained for disaster situations by taking part in mock disaster drills. And the Minnesota Air Guard's 109th Aeromedical Evacuation Flight has been named the best medical unit in the Air Reserve Force and the Air National Guard. The award is based on the readiness shown through such disaster drills and other training. Our congratulations to Flight Commander Lieutenant Colonel Julia Hesslinger and the entire 109th.
With all the attractions available to people in the Twin Cities, many are spending more and more time in the parks. Almost 12 million visits were projected for the 43 regional parks in the metro area this year. That's up some 42% from just 5 years ago. The parkland around the Minneapolis chain of lakes and St. Paul's Como Park ranked first and second in use over the past year.
If you were jogging around a lake this morning, it was very sunny. If you went this afternoon, it was all clouded over.
You notice how that wall of clouds came quickly through the Twin Cities area. Actually, we were calling for fog last night. The fog developed just south of the metro area and then rolled in just like a blanket. So all the drivers had to contend with was some fog and some slippery roads around here. But off to the southeast in Wisconsin, a little bit more is falling from the sky in the form of snow and rain. As a matter of fact, there could be about 2 to 5 inches of snow, according to the National Weather Service in Milwaukee, across central Wisconsin by tomorrow morning. It'll be the slushy variety. It's fairly warm. Just a slight chance we might see up to an inch in the southeastern corner of Minnesota, but it looks like most of that will miss us off to the east. Well, despite the clouds today, we made it up to 34 degrees, once again above freezing. Morning low is 20, and those are very close to our averages for this time of the year. Sunrise tomorrow at about 7:24 a.m. Currently, the skies are cloudy. We're still stuck at 33 degrees. The dew point is 25, making our relative humidity 72%, a southeast breeze at 12, and the pressure falling at 30.32 inches. Looking around the 5-state region now, a mixture of rain and snow falling across southeastern Wisconsin and portions of southeastern Iowa. And another area of light snow is occurring over the northeastern portion of North Dakota. That one's heading northeast, should brush through northwestern Minnesota. Could be some accumulation up around the Roseau and Baudette areas a little later on tonight. 24 International Falls, ranging up to 39 over at Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our satellite view shows that thick blanket of clouds off to the south and east of us, and also that other little disturbance moving just to the north. And not much going on in between, and that's about what we expect here in the Twin Cities tonight. Maybe a flurry a little bit later on. Easterly winds, though, around this big area of high pressure are going to keep a thick blanket of clouds around tonight and possibly throughout the day tomorrow. But right now it looks like this whole mess is going to slip off to the northeast and just miss Minnesota. There is another storm moving into the Pacific Northwest, but right now it looks like that's going to fall apart before it makes it here. So it looks like a fairly nice Thanksgiving is shaping up. Here's the radar picture around the country. Some heavy rain falling in southwestern Missouri. 5 inches has fallen there. They got flood watches up across the southwestern part of Missouri. That changes over to snow as you head into the upper Midwest. Here's a weather map for tomorrow. That wet system continuing eastward into the Ohio Valley, while an area of high pressure dominates our weather, the center of it east of James Bay in Canada, keeping us fairly cool. It still looks like that easterly flow will keep clouds over eastern Minnesota much of the day tomorrow, maybe a break late in the day. Here's that next week weather system moving in for us, but it looks like in between on Thanksgiving Day it should be fairly nice tomorrow. For Thursday, that is. Our forecast for tonight calling for cloudy skies, a few flurries a little later on, 25 to 30. So temperature's not falling off too much at all. Then for tomorrow, look for mostly cloudy skies, a slight chance of some morning flurries, highs in the mid-30s, the northeast wind at 6 to 12. The chance of any significant snow is around 20%. Tomorrow night, decreasing clouds, some fog possible again, 24 to 29 as we remain.
Yeah, but that was after. You weren't taking the medication before you got sick.
No, because I threw them away.
What do you mean?
I threw them all away.
Oh.
So you're gonna pick me up after class, right?
Yes. I told you 3 times. You're stuck with me, kid.
George, wait up.